You guys have made it to safe haven with the Ashen Table in what looks like a larger version of Seraphina's tiny hut, which is now just a hut, as it's probably around 30 feet wide and has the same effect of it just being warm in the center and you can see through it. And apparently it's been covered by an illusion at the same time to disguise it into the pile of bones which scatters this barren landscape around you. With you all mostly sitting around the table inspecting some strange relic which apparently they had found down here. You were about to start a battle strategy.
What are we even dealing with in terms of, like, what have you managed to scout out at this illithid settlement?
Well, I'll leave that to Ro and Jonga. Jonga? Ah, yes. Well, we've only done 2 scouts, to say the least. We couldn't get close, but what we found out is there's one side which seems to be the collective of these golems that we speak of. There's a number of them, and they seem to be doing something. My best guess is moving bones or adding to them. But it's by the edge of this lip down into whatever they call their colony structure. It is a pretty well guarded building. It is similar to a castle in its structure, but natural. It looks more like a beehive. But it is surrounded by some type of... I want to say liquid, but I haven't had a look. It is whatever's giving off that light, and he points off towards the faint source of light you can see in the distance. This faint, sickly green, which seems to light up that portion of the cavern towards the east. There isn't much of a smell to it, but I don't intend to go into it. The most pressing matter right now is the mind, the voice. He kind of looks at Ro. We believe it knows exactly where we are, as long as we're out of this. Unless he kind of looks at Arkan, Daniela, and Seraphina. Unless one of you 3 have some way of dispelling mind reading, they're gonna have a good idea that we're coming.
Question.
This is a time of questions, so...
do we know if the thing can only hear our thoughts, or do they actually know where we are? If so, wouldn't they know where we are because we just got off the radar?
That is likely.
So, we're not hidden?
We are unable to read thoughts, and you didn't know when your mind went blank when you passed through, so...
We're shielded, but not necessarily
hidden.
We're shielded and hidden, but not necessarily, like, lost from their senses. This may be a stupid question, but how do we know that's even where we need to go?
Well, that is my hope that it is. It is the most obvious place down here. And when I had a brief look, and Hawkstrad, well, did his thing, which still don't know what that is. Apparently, that is where most of the magic is.
But we aren't able to locate the book directly.
Unless we were close enough for some type of locate spell. No.
Alright. And how big is the settlement?
It is not very large. From what I can say from a distance. It is rather tall, but it's not very wide.
Are we expecting Illithid sentries?
Well, or golem sentries.
It is more golems. There's a few illithids patrolling with their pets, but no large number of them. They seem to be mostly inside from expectations.
You said it was like a hive, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm no hiveologist, but in my experience,
A what?
it's a expert on hives.
Oh, okay. I'm learning so much today.
But in my experience, inside of a hive, there's usually an especially big beastie. Is there like, how much do you know about lithids? Do they have like illithid queens or anything? Are we gonna be fighting like some creepy ass tentacle vagina monster or something?
Did I tell you fully on how they procreate?
No.
Ew, no.
Do we need to know?
No, but please explain it to Aaron in excruciating detail.
I won't as much, because I don't like it either. But they use their, you would call slaves, as a way of creating new ones. They create spawn from the elder brain and then insert it into a new vessel.
Wait, hold the spell. Right, so first of all, Elder Brain, we'll circle back to that in a second, but you say they turn people into illithids? Like they've...
Yes, that is not the most straightforward way of doing things.
The priestesses we saw with the squiddly bits, they might not have been priestesses, they might have been illithids, just not fully changed.
That is possible. They were in the process of changing.
On a nature standpoint, doesn't it mean all illithids are parasites then?
Yes. They're not of this world, I've said. That is why they're aberrations.
Well...
They don't belong on this plane.
Well, hang on. Hold the phone. Not
Hold the what?
a phone. Hold the sending stone.
Why do we need a sending stone?
We don't need one, but we're holding it. Just...
No, we're expecting a call.
Am I speaking common right now? Have I slipped into draconic? What's wrong with you people?
No,
Come on.
you are speaking common, it's just they don't understand.
What is your idea,
But
Ulan?
anyway, so let's not rush away from this thing about this new piece of information about people transforming into illithids, because we know that the first time we saw the squiddly bits was the priestesses in the Tig,
Aye.
right? In the room with
wasn't
Lolth.
it?
Aye, the priestesses in the Tig had squiddly faces.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking more of the first time we saw the Illithid in that cave.
Well,
You know, with
we
white
thought-
beard.
With what? And with what?
With white big guy, you know, the giant coat that we did stuff to.
Oh, yeah, that was after.
That was after.
Yeah,
Someone
because
looks
This is the
confused at
original-
himself, like,
we went from the Tig to the Mirror Forge, and the cave with the giant was after the Mirror Forge, where we rescued Junga.
This place makes weird things with my memory, apparently.
It
But-
does that,
But,
yes.
no, but like, so the encounter we had with the avatar of Lolth was in a room with several priestesses who were presumably in the process of transforming into Illithids.
But were they the ones that caused this appearance of love?
Well, we don't know, because that's exactly my point. Is Lolth with the Illithids or against the Illithids, and did we just walk in? Like, was the whole spider tidal wave her purging the tide of these Illithids that were trying to creep up to the surface? And I hate to say it, but do we want to try and have a wee chat with Lolth somehow?
Didn't the spiders appear when Evermore put that amulet thing on the summoning altar thingy?
That looks like Ithamore.
But her Harbinger was already there.
Did you even see then? Because I remember.
No.
No, actually, no, you didn't. You were.
You were busy walking the opposite way, yeah.
But you told him afterwards.
But
Yes, I remember the conversation, but I don't think he would have brought it up.
no, but I don't know. This sounds like a really bad situation. There are what, a dozen of us? How many of us are there?
Yeah, it's a little bit more than a dozen.
A baker's dozen of us against an army, possibly several armies.
Well, you guys made it through a citadel of Durga.
A citadel that was mostly deserted
Yeah.
because they'd all come down here.
You didn't come down all this way because you thought there were even odds, did
no,
you?
No,
Lan?
no. But what I'm saying is, right? First of all, let's consider what resources or enemies of our enemy we might potentially have at our disposal. And second of all, let's maybe not go to where the entirety of the enemy army is
Well,
without knowing that's definitely where we need to go.
we're not intending to do a full-on assault. We just
But-
need to find out where the book is.
We don't know where, like, the third exits. We don't know where the drow factor in down here. Because obviously the third path doesn't lead the way that we came. It doesn't lead the way that you came. So there is another place that presumably has something to do with the drow. We need to know if there's another fucking army.
Maybe you've went the drow way.
Or we went the... No, okay, let me rephrase. We may have gone the drow way, but we didn't go the path of... the third path. And we haven't passed by any drow settlements the route that we came.
Or spiders.
Or spiders or anything. So there's definitely a different path that neither of us have travelled down. And we've not encountered... None of us have encountered any drow except for the non-converted drow that were in that room with the door that we opened.
The way you came, there were no golems, correct?
Well, there were a few, but that's where the golems have come from.
Well, in the citadel.
Yeah, there were a few in the citadel, and we found tracks corresponding with golems. They presumably, like, unless we missed a turning that the entire golem army marched off down. But there's another path to get here, and we've not seen any drow.
Apart
And
from the
we
ones
know
that died.
drow were involved. What I'm saying is, before we charge in and kick the squid hive,
We're not doing that.
well, exactly, but before we go anywhere near the squid hive, perhaps we should go around the rest of the area and maybe establish what's going on with the drow so that we have a full understanding of what we're facing. I mean, if We know part of the cavern. We know the part that we came through. Perhaps we can map it out and scout out the gaps.
And even if we did, the path we took was the Drow path, there is still the third path that's unaccounted for.
Exactly.
So regardless of which path we took and which path you took, there's another path down here which could have things without there in.
Exactly, and we have two things to find. We have to find the Drow. There are two things that we don't know where they are. We don't know where the Drow are. We don't know where the other path is, and I am hoping that they're in the same place. But if they're not, we need to know that. And to be honest, if they start using the book, we'll know. And we stopped them the last time that they were doing it. So
we don't know how the Drow is taking part in all of this.
exactly. But from the sound of it, it sounds that they're being infected and converted. Which means we may have Drow allies as well as Duergar allies. And
Everything's a little more complicated.
aye, but we don't know, and there's too much we don't know.
Well, we know one thing. They probably have the book and they're going to open it using something. This
And
voice is
if they
definitely...
do, we know exactly what will happen.
I'm going to assume whoever this voice is probably the one using the book. That, or they know who does.
Well, what was the thing you were saying earlier about the elder brain that all of the stuff comes from, like the queen squid?
Yes, sorry. We went off topic. The elder brain. It is a thing all in itself. Its direct origin of why it was made is, well, unknown. Although I do know what it is made of. Well, pushing further on their horrific ideals, the brain itself is, well, made of brains. Poetic. Brains made of brains. It's a center of their psionic power. And I'm sure you felt it. Their ability to disrupt one's brain, their mind, their influence over their body. It's a disturbing feature they have. They can communicate with each other through it. Like our sending stones, but more immediate. It is part of them.
Is it alive? Like, is it sentient? Is it the voice we're hearing?
Very much a center, a cortex of themselves as a race, if you want to call them a race. I would say, if we can, I would like to destroy that as well.
But what you're saying is it's probably not the voice that we're hearing.
It's possible. It is a thing as well, but it is multiple voices combined. It is not really a singular person. It has no emotion.
Right. Okay. So, but my point being that not only do we have this elder brain to contend with, but we also have the powerful whatever that's speaking into our brains, possibly on top of that.
Yes, which I would assume is some type of leader of theirs, a alpha.
Right. So we've got to take out the alpha and the queen.
That would be
The
ideal.
question is, what would happen if we were to take out the alpha or the queen? Would they have a feeling of complete neglection? Like, would they feel like they're disconnected, or would they like have a spastic like freak out? What?
I will answer that. But Serafina, you had something?
We did encounter an elephant, so it would technically know that, well, at least the ones it saw is here.
That is presumable. If you're down here and you've seen at least one illithid, they know.
Oh, that reminds me. We don't need a head anymore.
Wait, what?
Maybe.
We took a head to show to the Rogar breakaway faction.
Oh.
The things are here, but I don't think we're going to be meeting up with them anytime soon.
Well, that's disturbing. But if the Elder Brain was destroyed, yes, there would be a disruption. They would have no way of communicating between each other. It is likely...
But we would be swarmed, right? They would all know that someone fucked with Elder Brain.
They would, but they would be disoriented. They wouldn't know what their commands would be. It would be like an army without a commander.
There's still a fucking army.
It is still an army.
Or worse, it's a
A
horde.
disorganized army, but still army, yes?
It becomes at that point it becomes a horde, and that's potentially worse.
My
Right.
hope
Because-
is
Because
in...
I mean, the good thing about armies is that if there's someone in charge, they can tell the people to stop. With a horde, it just keeps going.
My hope is that this Elder Brain, or possibly this Alpha, are the one controlling these golems, mind controlling them. Depending on which one, it would be helpful to remove them as well. Making the golems themselves also have no command would allow them to have an opportunity to fight back.
You want to try and turn the golem army against the Illithids?
At least confuse them.
I'm not opposed to this plan, but
If
that
you say
would involve us knowing who was controlling it.
that is the
Question.
problem.
On a scale from 1 to 11,
Yes.
14.
that may be the answer. How aberration would you say the Elder Brain is?
How? Sorry?
And,
How powerful would it be? Like, would it be like from a scaling from a normal illithid?
That is the question. If this is the same brain that has been sealed in this chamber for however long that door has been there that you've opened.
Well, I
The
was trying to say, I maybe help us to able to locate the thing when we're closer.
The number of brains applied to it would be a lot.
it's gonna be a big fucking blip, though. Is what you're saying.
If you're trying to locate it, yes. It would no doubt be the epicenter of their power.
So like, then I can find us our way, but getting in there, like, are we going invisible again? That worked last time.
Well, invisible doesn't stop them from reading your mind.
But what if we never think of anything? Can we read our mind then?
I would be impressed if you can.
Do we even know how?
Well,
Get
he
rid
looks,
of this.
he looks at the group. We have 2 monks. They are good at the meditating. I know Seraphine have trained it.
But you're gonna say
it's
him
not
so?
something you can do in an hour.
No, but we may be able to train it.
I asked if we even know how to destroy the brain. Or these disconnected.
Well, it's a brain. How else do you
Fireball.
damage a brain?
By making it have a seizure?
You crush it.
Well, yes, I guess that works also.
And if I get the chance, I would very much like to plunge this blade into it.
Question: if I were to shoot the brain, would it become a headshot or a brain shot? Anyway, bad jokes aside.
I have another question.
Okay.
It's not related to the brain. Do we know how specifically, or the specifics to open a book, how it actually is done?
Well,
No.
you take the front cover and you lift it with one hand, and then it's open.
Well, that is how you read a book. I assume it is like any standard ritual, although this is quite a large book. At least that is what I've heard. I have yet to actually see one.
Well, which kind of standard ritual, because there's a lot of different ones.
Well, we know from our perspective, at this point we know more than they do, because we've actually seen
You've seen a book.
the
We
tail
didn't-
end of it being...
We didn't see how it opened.
Well, no, we didn't see how it opened, but they've not even seen the book, so we're more knowledgeable on this front. But what we can infer from what we saw, there didn't appear to be much in the way of a ritualistic setup, because we didn't see anything on the ground and the portal opened in the sky, and it was a ritual performed by one individual.
How large is the book?
About yay big, and I gesture.
Then it's possible the whole thing needs to be read through at least, or at least part of it.
It's possible, and when they start doing that, we will see it from...
We will very much see something.
Aye.
If what we've seen at King's Arch is anything to go by, we're looking for some type of vibration in the air.
About that,
I'm looking for notes.
I was not there. You were there. Is the thing in the ground the same? You guys, or
Is the what in the what the same?
you know the vibration you could feel in the ground? It's what they do call the clock, right? Is this the same thing?
Not if it's been going on for this long. Like
But it's stronger here.
We had some vibrations, but not like it wasn't like a rhythmic pulsing that went on for hours and hours and hours. Like if we'd been feeling the vibrations this long, we'd all be dead by now. If that's what it was from. But
Good to
the
know.
fact the vibrations are still another unanswered question.
It is. I have yet to understand what it is, and unfortunately I don't have the time to investigate it.
Aye.
But yes, it is definitely not the same thing. Or at least I hope not.
And as a note from what we knew of this book, or know of this book, is that the book itself, has charmed a few people.
Are you suggesting the book has an influence over people?
Wait, how do we know that the book charms you?
We were told about Shay and Wilbur.
It charmed Shay?
It turned
Which
Wilbur
is-
into getting it out of the
I've
Oh,
vault,
yeah,
the
that's
Order's
true.
vault.
yeah.
Do,
Shay.
yeah, do we know that though?
Yeah, we were told
Yeah?
about it.
He said it.
We talked about it because I have written it down.
He literally forced it out there, so yes.
Yeah, and Wilbur told us about the Order 2 that tries to break it, but I'm not saying it.
So what happened to Shay though?
She was in contact with it. She burned the book, which is why parts of the temple got burned down.
And that was the same book, or that was a similar book?
It
Another
might
book.
have been a different book, but
It
yeah.
was another
Okay.
book.
You're saying there was another book?
There's several, aren't there?
Well, as far as we know, there's at least two. We don't necessarily know that this one isn't the one.
Swordhill said 4?
I think actually
That
it was
she-
7.
7? Maybe it would have been 7.
We know that there's at least two. We can't remember the exact number, but it's more than two.
Well, I can assure you that this is definitely not
How do
one.
we know there's three?
because the Cult of Ender, it's assumed from the King's Guild that the Cult of Ender have a book.
Which
Yeah,
you
but how
believe
do
is
we
the
know
same one
that's-
from the Arch, from King's Arch.
No,
Yeah. How do
It's-
we know it's a different one? We only for definite know there's 2. We can speculate that there's 3 or
Mm.
more.
King's
but we-
Arch, King's Guild.
You're assuming there's a different one for King's Arch, the one that's happened in Tetson with Shay, and possibly this one.
Yes. The
But
thing,
so,
the thing
so we,
you think of
we're
is the
guessing
name
at
of the
least
book that
3,
Wilbur
but
had.
we don't know whether any of them are separate books.
They're pretty far away.
Well, it was also mentioned that the Cult of Ender had the book.
But how
we
do we
don't
know
know
that's
which-
not one of the other ones? Is the point?
Well, it wasn't the one in King's.
Yeah, but that only means that there is a minimum of 2. We don't know how many of the other ones there are, and
There are many books in the
assuming
Alba.
that there's 3 or 4 is going to send us on a quest to destroy 3 or 4 when we might be done after we've destroyed 2. So that's not helpful at this point.
Did you say one of them was burned?
Well, we were told that one acquaintance burned the book, which also resulted in.
If my reading's been
Messages.
true, I don't believe these can be destroyed normally.
Fine.
Yeah, we weren't told what afterwards, if the book actually survived it or not.
Yeah, so it could easily be one
But
of
yeah.
the same book that we've encountered at a different point.
But yeah, the books does influence people. It can even change the appearance of people in small. Oh, I actually don't know how much
Well,
we have seen.
if we know there's one down here, we can assume that it's influencing these illithid somehow. Or at least the one holding it, which I'm going to assume is probably this voice that we're hearing. Now the question becomes, is he controlling the book, or is the book controlling him? No, that is not the problem right now. The problem is getting to the book. Right now, we know it's probably with these illithid. The
No, we
illithid,
don't.
we hope.
No, well, why are we hoping that?
It makes things a lot easier.
Not necessarily.
It's either hidden, or it's exactly where we hope.
Well, it could be anywhere in this vast cavern.
Then
that
we
we've
should probably
only
try and
partially
locate it then.
explored. Yeah, we should absolutely try and locate it, but there's no reason to assume that it's with the giant golem army. It could be somewhere else entirely. We have literally no idea. And I think we need to bear in mind what we don't know, rather than basing things on what we think we know.
Then we should probably do some locating. Myself and Sachiko can cast locate object. We can start attempting to get closer and see if it is in that direction. Are you able to locate it?
I can locate the Elder Brain.
We're after the book. The Elder Brain can wait.
Okay.
Aaron can locate things.
If he has it prepared, I'm sure.
I cannot today. I have only creatures.
Well, let's assume we're going to be down here for a day.
How does locate creatures work?
Exactly the same as locate object.
So
Name
it's
a
the same
Creature, and it's gonna show you-
distance.
no. Locate object is larger, longer distance.
So how far is locate creature then?
Locate creature
1,000 feet, isn't it?
is 1,000 feet. Locate. Oh no, it's the same.
It is the same.
distance.
but the cave we're in is significantly bigger than 1,000 feet.
That's a little
Actually,
bigger.
no.
I would like to take a scouting party to try and find the other path down here, and see if there's drow around.
Oh, that works. That always works well.
Well, the alternative is that we don't try and figure out where the drow are, and when we're in the middle of trying to defeat the bad guys, a drow army shows up and kills us all.
No,
That's
I'm all for scout
problematic.
parties. That's always a great idea.
We can always, have the scout party be all of the broken compass.
I am willing to help. We would have to be sneaky and keep away from that light. We would also need to at least have some attempt at trying to mask our thoughts.
Yeah, that is not something that any of us can do, as far as I know.
Is there any particular thoughts they will notice us? Can we just think of like flower fields and like?
That's still an actual thought. I would presume it's any kind of thought that denotes a functioning mind.
And
Maybe we should just think of a really catchy and annoying tune and just write it and say no.
Savant, your thing
Yeah.
you do when you're locating things, would they be able to reverse that against you? Would they know you're looking?
That's an interesting thought. I can't really sense anything around me when I do it.
The answer to is no.
Serafino doesn't know that. But
Yeah, he was providing Lenita with the answer to give to you.
Yeah. I expect no. It's not like it's a spell or anything. Well, sort of. It's sort of I commune with the nature around me.
What is it you can sense with that?
A lot of things.
Can you
Depending
sen-
if I exhaust some of my innate magic.
You were talking about sensing the Duragar earlier. Would you be able to use it to sense drow? And does it show you all of the drow in an area, or just the nearest ones?
Did I ever say I could sense Duragar?
You had a whole plan about trying to figure out what the king was.
Yes,
that
if he was turned, that was.
Oh, okay.
That does help a bit, but if I only had more knowledge about them, I could probably do it. So that's the problem.
All right.
Out of character design. If I had favorite enemy humanoid drow, yes, then I'm good.
Okay, so basically that's not going to be of any use to us at this point. Would that just be the nearest one then?
Mm-hmm.
So we literally have to just mooch out and look. And we have no spell that can protect our thoughts.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, what's the harm? But like just playing like Matezu's advocate here. If we send out a scout party going to the wrong place, like if we're looking for the drow, not the book, and we go to the place where the book isn't, worst case scenario, they realize that we're coming and come after us, which means we're leading the focus of whatever is detecting our thoughts away from this safe little niche and the people who are planning to take out the Elder Brain or the Alpha Illithid or whatever. So,
As I think Savan pointed out, that they technically can guess where this area is because of the loss of contact.
then why aren't they here now?
I don't know.
But that's my point. At this point, they might be aware of where we are, but they don't consider us enough of a threat to come a knocking, right? So either
Oh.
they aren't able to detect that we're there with that much specificity, or they just don't care. In which case, if a
Playing a
large
trap.
group of us leaves, they might not think we're here anymore, and anybody who's left is more safe than they were while we're all here. Because the attention of whatever is reading our thoughts will be distracted elsewhere.
That's an
Away
interesting thought.
from the shielded bubble that it can't read through.
That could work.
It may be that they can't exactly know where we are. Maybe because they can only they don't have sensory like our surroundings.
I mean, it could work exactly the same as your ability to sense.
That would be true. They would have the direction and in miles, but that wouldn't
And
exactly
like
figure
the
it out.
intensity of the thing, but us standing in a group. I mean,
Yeah,
It'd be a bigger blob.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Like,
it
but my,
notices there's more thoughts in the area than normal.
but if there are currently no thoughts in the area as far as it knows. Is it gonna understand the subtle difference between, like, the 7 thoughts of us as we were wandering around earlier? And I mean,
explanation why it doesn't have. It knows we're here, but it doesn't know where we are. Is where it basically can feel there's more thoughts in the air.
I understand
and
that, and my point is, again, why does it matter? Because if we're gonna go scout out the city in the first place, it's gonna sense us. And if we were somehow able to shield the minds of every single one of them, which, based on my experience with magic, protecting a lot of people is quite difficult, we're probably not going to be able to shield all of us in one go, which means it's going to be able to sense some thoughts at some point. And if the thoughts that it can sense are going to the wrong place, or at least a less urgent place, if we're just wandering around, like us wandering around earlier, it didn't send the entire bulk of its army to take us out. It sent one illithid and let the ghouls or whatever handle the problem. So there's no reason to assume it would act any differently to us wandering around harmlessly than it has previously.
It probably is better that we just walk around aimlessly.
Exactly. If we wander off looking in the corners away from the squid hive, then we are not being a threat. So, best case scenario, it leaves us alone. Worst case scenario, it does what it would have done to us before we found our way into this dome.
And they can't read our memories, right? So when we leave from here, if we just think about anything else that is not related to what we actually are doing, then they wouldn't know what, would they?
Well, are they able to detect our thoughts, or just like are they aware that our thoughts are there, or are they actually reading what our thoughts are?
I don't know if I would know then.
We don't know right now.
Right, so we can't make any assumptions or plans based on what it could or couldn't perceive.
My only current idea right now is, considering they haven't sent patrols in this direction, they know we exist, but not where we are.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was getting at. Yeah. So if
That's what I have.
That's literally what I've been saying this entire time.
I said that too.
Yeah, I know you said that, and then you kept repeating it when it's been what I've been saying the entire time. So, we're all on the same page of that. Can we stop repeating the same facts now?
So, you want to go on a scouting party?
Yeah, I want to go looking for what else is in the rest of this cavern. I mean, have you got something we can sketch out a crude map on?
There's several books I have which you can use.
Right. Let's sketch out a crude map of the entrance that we came in, landmarks like the big dragon, where we are currently, where they came in, where the hive is, and then we'll look at where the gaps are. We'll pick a gap and we'll go there.
Takes out this
parchment.
I will give you guys. What should I give you guys?
page to scribble on.
I'll give you guys a fresh page. Do I have a fresh page? Nope, I have to create one. Okay.
Just to say, it's probably Savant draws it.
Let's. Can I move this? Yeah, I can. Good. There you go. Nice blank page.
Yeah, but the main thing is, can they detect our thoughts? That's the main thing.
We don't know, we can't find out, so let's not keep asking that question.
Unless you want to stand outside and give them a good thought.
Sorry. Well, that's not what I was thinking, but okay.
Well,
We'll just stand there and mentally flip them off.
If I would guess if there's an actual elephant we encounter that decides to probe our mind, then it can read our thoughts.
Well, unless it's the elder brain that's doing it and there's lots of minds concentrating on us at once. But we don't know, and we shouldn't be jumping to any assumptions. Let's just keep it as basic and bottom line as we can.
Something to keep in mind.
What it might be able to, it might be able to read our thoughts. But what are we gonna do differently?
I'm talking about elephant.
Yeah, I was more thinking about when we try to get back here. We don't think about getting back here.
What are we gonna do differently if we bear that information in mind?
All you can do is think less.
Don't think about getting back here while we get back.
Well, fine, but that whether they can read our thoughts or not, it's not gonna change. If we can't shield all of us, then we're just gonna have to do the best we can.
If we can shield.
And there's no point in saying just don't think about this particular thing because you cannot really control it.
Yeah, but
even thinking about not thinking it,
we can't do anything unless. And since we've brought this up 7 or 8 times now and no one's chimed in and said anything, unless we are able to protect a large quantity of us from having our minds read while we're wandering around, we need to accept the simple fact that our minds are probably going to be read and just work with it. Because there's fuck all we can do at this point, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Then that gives us two things, well, a few things to remember not to bring up. Don't think about where we are, don't think about who is here, and don't think about what our plan is until we actually do it.
Because thinking I don't want to go to that place over there is gonna be great.
Or everybody just think of a thing that is deeply personal and maybe has an emotional resonance for you and just focus on that.
Yes.
Something painful or something
keep it consistent,
elating or something that you can latch onto and stick with. Focus on that.
Yes, I agree.
That's what was I trying to
now,
okay.
Ulan, I imagine you want to be the one going on this scouting adventure.
Please, yes.
Who would you like to take with you?
I will take anybody who volunteers.
You're not going without me.
Well, we're gonna be sneaking.
Well, yeah, it's not my forte, but I want to hit things.
Alright.
I'm no good here, but I'm not very good sneaking, so...
You all know that I would like to take you with me if I can, but I'm not gonna make anyone come with me who isn't willing.
I'm willing to go if I'm needed.
I'm willing to go, but it's whether or not you think I'll in danger, because I can't sneak very well.
Well, what is going to be happening while we're gone?
I'm going to look over some plans, and hopefully Sachiko can scry on that for us.
Can Seraphina scry?
You can?
No. So she knows of the spell.
Okay, I
couldn't
remember if she had or not.
Unfortunate.
Alright, so Sechiko's gonna be scouting the stuff out. It would make sense to... I mean...
The thing is, I could stay back, and if I had material, I could make rope ladders and everything. We would need to infiltrate the place while you're gone.
Well, I mean, we kind of need rope to make rope ladders, I guess.
Don't we have a lot of rope?
Yeah.
But I see what you mean.
Well, we probably aren't really even making a plan until we've seen what's out there.
True.
Yeah.
I'm very willing to go. If you think
I would certainly like to take Savant with me. I mean, he's one of the better trackers and scouts we've got, and he's pretty handy at long range. I don't like going anywhere without pebbles, but there might be up close. I don't know.
Who the fuck is Pebbles?
I was gonna say, who's Pebbles?
That's Seren, because she's rock and I'm feathers.
Oh,
Oh no, no, am I Pebbles?
you're Pebbles.
No, you're rock. Aren't
No.
you?
No, Pebbles is Shay.
No. You're his backstory thing.
Oh.
Because remember,
Rock feathers. Oh my
yeah,
god.
no, she was at the temple and asked for my help finding rocks. And I
Yeah,
thought she
in
meant rocks
actual
rather than
rocks?
the birds.
That makes sense.
Although I've been calling her like that's it, feathers and scales, isn't it?
Yes.
And I've been calling her
feathers,
her pebbles as well occasionally, but
There we go.
but yeah, it's got rocks
I
and
don't think
feathers.
anyone was letting you call it Pebbles.
No.
It's all in your mind.
No, I have I've like used it as like a shut up pebbles kind of thing.
Yeah, he has.
Okay.
I think maybe it just slipped people's notice. That's all.
Yeah.
Well,
Who has not volunteered to come on the scouting mission?
Aaron.
Other than Aaron.
If there is to be combat, I'm not the best one to take because so far they have been screaming and attracted attention.
Yeah, how do you feel waking people up?
I mean, I'm having this whole dilemma thing where you're expecting me to make a decision because everybody says I'm in charge, and Udan does not like decisions.
Come on,
as you kind of like stutter and like shift, it's like.
Well, Ulan wouldn't be like visibly uncomfortable about it.
But you'll be quiet for a bit.
Have any of the other people volunteered?
Yeah, as you kind of, everyone's kind of quiet. Django steps forwards. I'll go with you. I've been around for a bit down here, so I have some idea of what we're dealing with.
Okay, let me just flip a coin. Why is that not? There we go. Okay. A one was split the party, a two was don't split the party. Alright, Savant, Seren, and Ethelmore. You're with me. And Junga, if you're willing to come as well. Have you got any fight left in you, Booker?
I have a few things I can still do, yes. But, yes, no, I will go. I think it'd be good to have
more confident with some more range that are quiet.
Yes, additional range would definitely help in this situation. We do need to keep a lookout for a few other things. I'll tell you on the way. Or, actually, I probably shouldn't. I should tell you now.
Yeah. Senegir, if you could keep the others safe and help with the strategy planning, Serafina, you probably put your head together with Arcantile and figure out what the hell we can do to take down an Elder Brain or an Elithid or something. I mean, between the two of you, maybe you've got something that you can do. And Aaron, I guess you're keeping Sechko warm for us. And relax.
At this point, she's actually moved to the front of the chair and is now like half on the what's it called? Armrest. Oh my gosh. Half on the armrest, half on Aaron.
Only half on?
Only half one.
I only have a half on too, so.
God damn it.
The composure is now dropped.
I mean,
Everyone like slowly looks across at Aaron. It's like,
Okay, what are we keeping our eyes out for?
right. Well, there's only really one thing, but it's the ley line. I believe it's actually somehow it's down here as well.
The same ley line or a different ley line?
Technically, they're all connected, but yes, it's different.
So it's more like a ley web.
Sure, you can think
Or
of
a
it that
ley
way.
net. Ley net sounds like a pretty wee lass.
It seems a little, yes. Well, the difference is, I believe it's been pulled down here. It's not, from what I saw when we were traveling, it's different. It's been, how to say it, it's frayed. It's no longer one continuous strand. It's been frayed in multiple parts down here.
That sounds bad.
Bad, but there's been no effect on the surrounding area, at least from what we can see.
Do you want to keep an eye out for a big glowy string? Okay.
Yes, that would be handy.
What makes you think it's down here?
It's in the air. I can see it.
two things. Ambi, GM question.
Yeah.
Without having the spell prepared, can I assist in scrying at all? I mean, I have the spell, but I don't have it
Scrying is a
prepared.
ritual, right?
That doesn't help me at all.
You can do it. Oh no, you have to do it from the spellbook. Can you do rituals?
Could he do a dex check
It's
to give her
not-
a shoulder massage while
It's
she's
not a
doing it?
ritual, it's just a 10 minutes casting time.
It's just a 10-minute casting
never
time.
mind then.
Okay. Yeah, and you're not a wizard, so you can't just change him on the fly.
Okay, well, then I would go with a scouting party, but I need you to let me know what my weapon does.
Yeah, I can. I'll just tell you now. So, apart from being a +2 spear, it also counts as an animated weapon, which means as a bonus action, you can release it from your hand, and it will float next to you. Similar to what's it called? Oh my gosh.
Spiritual weapon?
Spiritual weapon, thank you. Why am I forgetting words today? Spiritual weapon, similar to that. It does basic damage of a d8. It's versatile, so d8 or d6, but d8 generally if it's animated. It also does 2d8 radiant damage if a cleric or paladin is using it and attuned to it, which you are.
It's too much.
Okay. Well.
Don't worry. Okay.
Yep.
Go on.
Additionally, if you personally throw it yourself, you can discharge a spell slot and throw it similar to a javelin of lightning, where it does 4d8 radiant instead, and heals allies for 2d8.
Wait, I can hurt people by healing them? Other way around.
Other way around, yes. You throw it in a line, and it either hits enemies, doing 4d8, or heals allies for 2d8.
Oh, so it passes through allies and...
Yes.
Okay, I'll just write it
Are
down
you
later.
gonna throw spears at us?
Throw spears at us, yes.
I'm gonna pierce you all.
There's something else as well, but yeah.
So the damage is...
The normal damage.
Yeah.
The normal damage is either 1d6 or 1d8.
Yeah. But since I'm a cleric, it is.
It's one.
An extra 2d8
Yeah.
radiant.
2d8 radiant.
Oh my god, that doesn't make... I cannot put that in weapon at all. Okay.
Yeah, you can. You can put it onto the
Yeah,
additional,
you can add an
Other
additional
damage.
damage.
Yeah.
So 2d8.
which is actually 3 because your cleric thing gives you an additional 1d8. Was it 1d6? What does your cleric thing do? Because you have like divine
D8.
smite or something.
A d8.
No,
that's
it's a divine club, the domain thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that as well.
when I throw it, it's a
4d8 radiant
okay.
or 2d8 healing.
And it is as a bonus animate.
Yes. Which can only be done once per long rest. For that.
And how many times can I use it as thrown? Is there a limit, or
For
as
throwing,
soon as I retrieve it, I
as soon as you retrieve it, you pick it up and throw it again. No, you do it 3 times. 3 times a long rest.
And animate is once a rest or
Yes.
once a long rest?
Once a long rest.
Question: her hour passed.
Has an hour passed? Considering you guys have been looking at this tablet and talking about planning, yes, an hour has passed.
Also, if Aaron's coming with us, then I guess we're all going. We're not just gonna leave Seraphina here on her own.
Come with us.
You're coming with us. So is Ithamore going to take off his armor, or are you keeping it on to stealth? Or is anyone going to help him?
I want to belong.
Okay.
Senator is gonna go with the party, probably.
I'm going to keep him to stay just because it makes things easier for me.
Yeah, just to avoid
Yeah,
having to, he can stay and
He's going to look at this tablet.
If he
And
were,
for-
he wouldn't use his keyboard
And-
anyway.
I'll
protect
tell
the
you what,
people
Aaron
behind.
and Saren will leave your wives at home.
Leave your... Well, yeah. There's one other thing. You can break it. But that's... You can do that whenever you... as a thing. But if you break it, it breaks it.
Oh.
And
you
it
mean
does
I can
something.
personally break it open to
Yes.
release things.
Yes.
Okay.
You have no idea exactly what it does, but
I remember
It's gonna-
stuffs from 3rd edition. I remember them.
yeah, he's like,
It was never good.
But that is a thing you can do as well.
You
Yes.
take 10d10 damage.
10d10
I'll
damage
switch to a
to
different
everyone in the area.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a thing. So, basically everyone's going at this point. No?
Yeah, we do. We just said if Aaron's coming, then we're all going, but we're leaving Sanagia.
Unless Seraphine doesn't want to go.
I just mentioned that I would not be much use in it.
Well,
If
if
he
you
was
want to
cold.
stay here on your own, you can. But
We use things like freezing spells instead.
and we also need you if there are any clear golems,
Yes.
because we have to do Operation Kill.
Yeah, this is out of game commenting
Hmm.
where I just said that Serafina said so, but I didn't say she was against it. Because I just said what she said. But
Anyway,
if people wanted to go, she would go.
Well, we just said everyone
ma-
except
we made
Sanagia is
that one-
going. So yeah, let's just.
We made a vow, so
Yeah, and just out of
Never
character
again.
that Senator is staying behind.
But Sanagia's staying behind for an out of character reason, so let's not dwell on it.
also he's taking.
Else we will spend this entire session inside this dome.
yes,
Yeah.
I want to.
Are there any shops around?
Are there any shops around? You have to peel Sechiko off you.
Oh.
Actually, how do you do that? As everyone starts getting ready to leave.
I'll go to. I need to help them.
Not die.
Yeah.
Out of game question because
Oh.
I don't remember. Did we ever
Mm.
know? Where we ever explained what enders are?
Ender is apparently whatever the book is attached to.
I know.
Or that is apparently what they're calling it. You're not sure if that's actually what it is, but that is what they're calling it. This cult.
Yeah, just what is ender specifically, but
Yeah. Apparently they just came up with the name and that's what they're using.
For all we know, it could be the name for the abyss.
Or they could just be really big Minecraft fans.
They're apparently just using it because it is attached to ending the world. So.
But it was just to refresh memories.
They're very tall, they grab blocks, and they teleport and drink.
That is the next bad guy I'm using.
Do not make eye contact.
Do not make eye contact. But yeah.
Looks like it's in right.
They're actually just really angry, really tall drow.
So, as you all get ready with Django.
Before we leave, I'm gonna cast the heat prestidigitation on Sechiko clothes and say that if you get cold before 1 hour passes, that means we're in trouble.
She kind of just cuddles up into her robes. I'll be waiting, and she snuggles into the chair you were sitting at.
Aww. I'm not going out.
And she definitely does have a very strong cat-like appearance as she kind of curls up in this chair.
Can I try to remember anything from the night? Is she the cat creature? Cat race?
You could use an intelligence check, sure.
Oh yeah, look at this amazing intelligence check.
That is an Aaron roll and a half. It was wild.
Oh yeah.
You think.
I'm not sure.
As you're leaving, who can actually do that? Yeah. Daniela comes up to you guys. If you're going to be stealthing, do I need to... I can enhance anyone's abilities if they need to stealth.
God.
Even more.
Considering some of you are in armor, I think you might need it. She can do 4 people.
4 people.
4 people.
Is
Saren,
only
Ithamore.
if Mother needs it?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the only one with disadvantage right now.
I don't think many of us are proficient in it, so we could
No.
always...
No.
The
Yeah.
ranger
No.
isn't even proficient in it.
I'm not proficient in it either. But I would say if 4 is the option,
Yeah.
I
Then-
am though.
then Sarah. Well, yeah, but you need the help.
No,
Because of
she
the
don't.
armor, right?
Wow.
It
No,
doesn't have
my armor
disadvantage.
doesn't get disadvantage because it's made out of
Oh,
mithril.
okay. Well, in that case, Aaron, Ithamore, Seraphina, and Savant, because Ulan wouldn't say himself. Oh, actually, did Jungra or Hawkstrad benefit from it?
Both of them are pretty dexterous, but
Yeah, I'm incredibly dexterous, so
yeah.
So am I, but not in stealth.
Well, yeah, I'm not in stealth either,
You're
but
talented in
I
other
have +5,
ways.
so.
That yours is just +5. Theirs is +8 and 9.
Oh no, sorry. For saving throws, are we talking? Or
No,
for
stealth.
For stealth. Oh yeah, my stealth is only +5, but.
Yeah. So yours is a little.
Only.
But what I'm saying is that we have 5 people to pick from, and pick the 4 that aren't Ulan.
So it's Saren, Ithamore, Seraphina.
No, Seren said. Dee said she was good in it.
I don't actually need it. I have the proficiency, and my armor doesn't give me a disadvantage, so I'm at a +5 already. I mean,
I'm at a +5 as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't trust the rolls.
Wow. Wow.
What?
So Aaron's one of them.
Seraphina, yes. Ithamore, yes.
Yep.
Aaron, yes.
And
And
Savant.
well, Savant, what's your stealth right now?
3.
Oh.
It's Savant then, yeah.
Okay. So it's 4. Okay. So she casts enhance ability, and the 4 of you feel
Also, I have a shift roll.
the speed and flexibility of a cat, as you now have advantage on dexterity checks.
Yeah,
I
this
look
is
at Sechiko.
Is this some
Space
weird
skills.
like dream of Aaron's?
I know,
Where
right?
everyone's slowly turning into cat people?
this feels familiar.
Which at this point, so Ithamore, yours is now just sort of flat roll. Which we'll see if that helps.
We also don't take falling damage from 20 feet or less.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And that's going to last an hour, so.
Okay, let's roll stealth and see how bad we do.
So if it basically disappears an hour before an hour has passed, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right, and they'll know we're in trouble if Aaron's prestidigitation drops, so...
It's a good job we've all got stopwatches then.
Exactly.
I suppose we can still tell from the floor.
Well,
Just make it cool.
as you all prepare, is there anything... you gotta leave your gear here?
What do you mean by our gear?
Some of you have... Actually, no, most of your bags are in the portable, actually.
Yeah.
So, you're actually not that weighed down.
I'll leave in the holding back holding gear and take it out.
Okay.
So we'll bring it with us, because it's got stuff in, and we might have things that we want to put in it.
You never know when you need something in the other dimension.
So, as you guys prepare yourselves with Junga and Booker, Arkan calls out. If you are heading to look for this other entrance, especially looking for Drow, keep in mind they may... We don't know which side they're working for.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is why we're looking for him.
And
Alright.
we should be careful because there may be the possibility of them having a living brain, I guess we could call it.
What?
The thing that knocks Seven out.
Oh, right, yeah.
Intelligent
Oh,
power.
the
Yeah.
intellect of our...
Yeah, well, we're always careful about that kind of stuff now.
I don't go anywhere near the dead bodies anymore.
As long as we walk in a shield wall, everything will be fine.
Yeah, everybody stay close. No running off, Darren, Ithelmore. Remember what happened last time? Everybody stay within Aaron's movement range.
Yeah, don't worry.
And
I know.
nobody get out of sight, alright?
Remember, the halfling is a little slower than the rest.
Yeah, but it's Aaron's movement range that's more important, because that's how quickly Aaron can get to you to save you.
And you're moving at half speed anyway, so...
Yeah, we're also stealthing.
Yeah,
The
so...
only two people that are going to be fast is going to be Savant and...
And Newland, so you're slowing down anyway, so yeah. It's not too bad. So...
Also, I can't wait for the Illithers to eat my brain right now after what happened today.
They get all that juicy information. So, as we started the session, can everyone...
Focus on your thing. Your important memory.
Should I do a check for this? No, I won't do a check for this
I'm
yet.
just gonna say already now, out of game, that Serafina's brain is gonna wander between a lot of mostly research stuff.
Just a bunch of jargon of planes.
Yeah, she had. Yeah, after what happened, she actually got some trouble focusing.
You're going to techno-babble them.
Technobabble about elemental planes. Nice.
Aaron
Alright.
is already planning his wedding and his future kids' names.
Wow. So, as we start the session, can everyone roll stealth checks? As you step out into the coldness of night once again.
Ow!
Oh, actually, as a point, nope, you don't have row with you, so you can't do that. And let's do Jungle first.
It shouldn't be...
Oh, wow, that was bad rolls.
No, that you shouldn't be at a disadvantage though.
Also really
She's
mad.
got
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
checking, I did click advantage, but it doesn't seem to work.
Well, you
Well,
need to be
it's a
on
plus
normal
two.
rather than.
Yeah, but normal does give me a disadvantage anyway. So the heavy
because-
armor.
Oh.
I
Okay.
clicked advantage, thinking that would cancel it out, but it hasn't. Reason.
Okay. Well, it's a 4 instead of a 2.
It's still a 4. And let's do Bookers. My rolls. That was a 7 and a 9, and a 2 and an 8. Wow. Alright, fair enough. Everyone but Ithamore rolled about of 10. Okay. That is a good start at least.
We rolled a 5, a 6, yeah, 2 5s and a 6.
And the NPCs didn't do much better. But
Oh man, that's a 2 and a...
yeah,
That's
it's a 2 and a 7. Well, fortunately, Hawkshred has advantage because he has boots. But let's see if
Nice boots, man.
he has boots and Nikes. Let's have a
Got
roll
some
for
nice
that.
Jordans on.
Uh-oh.
Actually, would it bet this one?
Depending on the light.
Yeah, it's pitch black, so yeah, it's disadvantage. I should just roll
Even in dim
twice.
light, you have disadvantage.
Unless they have daggers.
They're insects, they don't. And they're too far away at this point, which is why. Because it was out of the 60-foot range. So, as you guys step out into the darkness of this cavern and away from the warm comfort of the chamber bubble that Arkan had created, you come back into the absence of, well, comfort, as the low rumbles through the ground are the only real ambience of this chamber.
Doing what?
Ambience? As you step out, who's going to take the lead, or are you going to allow Booker to take lead with Junga?
I guess it will be me, Savant, and Booker maybe
Okay.
near the beginning-ish.
Mm-hmm. Mostly because we two don't have a problem to keep up with people or something.
Yeah.
All right. So, with you two taking the lead with Hawkstrat, you're going to go a completely different direction away from the light, I imagine.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we sketched out a map.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to where there's a gap on the map.
Okay. So, for your map in your minds, your mind maps, you guys were traveling pretty much, let's say, the south side of the map. And you've traveled pretty much most of the cavern, about 2/3 of the way up to where you guys have this outpost. And you know to pretty much direct east of this outpost is where this light is coming from. So you have a good idea what's south and what's east. Which direction do you want to travel?
I guess, like, clockwise around the cavern.
Alright, so you're going to head west and then go up north.
I thought
Wait,
you
no,
said
north and then east, sorry.
Wait, north and east?
You said clockwise, right?
Yeah, and you said that we could go south or east, so where are we going north or
Sorry,
east?
I said west or north.
What? You've given us like a blank thing, but there's nothing on there.
Oh, because
do you
I thought
wanna,
you
like,
guys were
draw us
drawing
a
it.
quick map of, well, because we don't know where the stuff is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Well,
We kind of need you to
okay.
draw it.
Fine, I should draw for you. I thought you had a good
the
idea.
entrance, and
Fine.
then basically the path we took to the safe.
Yeah,
spot.
the two entrances, the bubble and the dragon, probably.
Fair enough. I will do that for you. So, down there, entrance,
and
and
where the light is.
Yeah.
about here is your bubble, and I'll do that for the light. And you know the dragon bones are roughly around this is going to be interesting. This is more like a raven, but that's fine. This is not art today. This is
Ambi, what drugs are you on right now?
I'm trying to draw with a mouse.
No, that looks like a skeletal dragon. He's got like the
No.
little indent. Look, no, look, that's the indent from his ribs. There's his 2 wings, and there's his tail. Where did they come down as well? That was the other thing we asked.
Hmm.
I'm guessing it was up here somewhere.
You pointed pretty much directly up. And you can ask either Horkstead or Junker this.
Well, yeah, we did when we were mapping.
And they would tell you it's pretty much there was a fracture in the ceiling about there.
Okay, so we'll start over here. Kind of. Yeah, we'll go there first and then there second. So I guess counterclockwise then.
Counterclockwise. Alright, so going from south
We'll
west.
start as far away from the light as possible, and then so we're going west and then round this way.
Cool. Alright. So as you head out into the darkness, away from the light. Away from the light. It becomes pretty obvious that the further south you travel, the more into this bone field you shall go. And every so often, as you're moving slowly through these, and the piles start getting higher, to the point as pretty much the same as what you saw previously, of the 10-foot piles. The sound of those insects comes running over your heads again. As even from the piles of bones, you hear very faint kind of buzzing sounds, just a as from what you've seen previously, they seem to be creating some type of almost hive themselves inside these bones. As you move further past and keep low to not attract any attention, doing your best at least to mask if and more sounds, keeping him near the center. You two can give me survival checks. Booker will do one as well.
Which 2 is you 2?
The 2 at the front.
So me.
Yes, you two. Savant and Ulan.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
He only has
Ulan reaches into the bag of holding and pulls out a red jumper.
Wow.
Because he failed his
No.
Yeah.
As closest to the ground, Savant.
Wow! Hi,
I'm just telling it how it is. The other two don't seem to notice that around the bone piles there are the tracks of creatures which you recognize as the ghoul footprints. These horrible claw marks that gouge parts of the stone, leaving marks across the floor. Additionally, you notice very faint markings. The not heavy creatures, and you can confirm because you've seen claws of this, that they are of the same type as the intellect of arrows. But there's only like one that you find. So it doesn't seem like down here there is a lot of those types of creatures. Apparently the ghouls are the ghouls are running this bone field to themselves. And apart from that, there's very few other creatures down here. Well, alive at least. Are the rest of you keeping an eye out, or are you just going to follow these guys?
Keeping an eye out.
Yeah, keeping an eye out as we move.
Are you doing it sight or hearing?
Sight for me.
Okay. Give me a perception.
I will do hearing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I I can also do it
Yeah.
because I can do tracking and be observant still.
Only hearing. No.
So Sarah, yours was perception, sight. Ithamor's yours was sight as well.
Yeah.
Sight.
I'm doing hearing.
Ulan, you're doing hearing. Serafina, you're doing
Hearing.
hearing.
And Samantha's doing hearing.
Because
Sounds fair.
seeing
Okay.
stuff is.
All right. So
We don't detect shit.
you don't detect much.
We ain't found shit.
Ithamor, you don't really see much either. You do notice throughout the bone piles there are definitely a multitude of different races in these bones. You very clearly see elven features as well in these bones. Very narrow jawlines. Very old as well. Centuries, likely. You don't really pick out much else. There are scraps of clothing still in this that are not leather and they're not fabric. It's definitely metallic is the only thing left within these bones. Most of them have rusted. There's few that look unscathed, but they're in this part of bones, so getting at it would be difficult. But there's definitely visual evidence that these were warriors, or at least they were planning fights here. Planning to fight. Savant, listening with the highest, you don't really pick up much apart from these odd sounds of the vibration in the floor and the faint insects going overhead. This sturges with the droning sound. You can't really pick up anything else. And you travel further into the bone fields before starting to head in a easterly direction, curving around through the bone field, close to where you guys pass through the gate, without much sign of anything. Do you guys want to carry on, or do you want to end as you begin searching through the fields?
I don't mind.
I'm finding the way.
I'm good to go.
You
Alright,
are fine.
We'll continue then. So, as you guys carry on traveling, you're pretty sure you've traveled this path before, and Savant, you're pretty
I
sure
know.
that you know actually, yeah, you're not even pretty sure, you know you've traveled this path, at least intersected the path you've traveled. As you keep on going eastward, and see the light to your left, the bones actually start to thin out, and instead of lots of humanoid bones of small shapes and piles, it becomes more large bones, more like the rib cage you saw previously. There isn't any more dragons. There are what look like dragons, much smaller, and you're pretty sure they don't have additional arms.
Can I do a nature check, A, on the wyvern skeleton to see if I know it's a wyvern skeleton? Or what I presume is a wyvern skeleton. And
I
B,
think
to see
it's-
if I know anything that's big enough for the rib cages?
Yeah, give me a nature check. Sven, you're probably there as well, so you can do one.
One nature check or two separate ones?
Just do one.
Aye. Yeah. Dragons, I don't know.
Medicine?
Medicine? Oh, well, it's the same.
Alright, fair enough.
It's
Yeah.
actually a 4. It's actually worse.
Oh, it's actually worse. Okay, never mind. But Ulan, you notice, yes, these are definitely wyvern creatures, which you know of them. You haven't seen any of them, but you know they exist as a lesser dragonkin creature. Somewhere along the line, they apparently split off from dragons. And these definitely match up. Or at least you think so, because all you have is a skeleton to go by. They're pretty large in size. They're about 12 feet in length. And there is a scattering of them, more than anything else. The rib cages that you saw. The creatures you know of, there's nothing this size. The only thing you could imagine is either a whale, but whales in the Underdark make no sense. So you're puzzled by this creature, whatever it could be, especially as you only have a rib cage. Perhaps if you had more, it would be helpful, but with only a rib cage, it's hard to decipher.
I would also like to look up and just like, how high is this cavern?
You can tell looking up, and you've been looking up every so often, just like watching the insects fly past. The cavern itself, you can't see the ceiling, and it doesn't seem to dome because you've gone from pretty much either side at this point. So it seems to be a flat ceiling, but you can see stalactites coming from the ceiling. So you know stalactites, they don't grow too long before they collapse. You know, they can get to about 15 feet before they collapse, so you know the ceilings.
So we're talking 80 to 100 feet at most.
Yeah.
Okay,
most.
and thus far the only thing resembling an opening is where the others came down.
From what you've travelled and seen, yes.
And how big was the opening that they came down? This is something that I would have asked.
Yeah, you can't see it, but you can ask. It was large enough that they could all fit through pretty sizably, even Ro, as a Goliath herself. The width of it was... It wasn't terribly large. It was large enough that they could tell several things could get through. Nothing larger than a golem could not get through.
Right, so that leads me to my question, how the fuck did the dragons get in? That's the thing that Ulan's wondering right now.
Yeah.
I will...
Imagine the dragon.
Imagine dragons.
I will quietly say that to Porkstrad, how the fuck did the dragons get in here? I haven't seen a hole big enough.
There's a lot of things that query that. The first was the ruins we saw of the elves. Now these dragons.
We know we're dealing with planes or something, but I mean, this is a battlefield. And there was some kind of fight fought with dragons? A long time ago, if what we saw is anything to go by. Aye. It's probably, given the elemental connection with the temples, I would guess it's pre-Emerald Sea. So, aye.
Does Savant hear this? Or hear it whisper?
Yeah, you're part of the upfront trio.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I was going to say, okay. Well, if I find a track, dragons leave tracks in the ground, I could probably do some ranger thing and figure out the time.
You think you'd be able to figure out a track that might still be here after 300 years?
Well, definitely around the big dragon, there would be a track that would be like an indentation in the ground.
What? Okay.
it for another time. But it could be an interesting subject. 73. I don't so want to be in CSI.
Yeah, I'll
follow.
follow along, but
Does it remind me of Knockabout's obsession with Knockabout? Okay, I'm gonna do a quick swifty. Shift. Hey. Technically, I should do that with advantage because it have to do with giants.
what is he trying to figure out?
Okay, it's 11.
They might be giants.
No, it definitely giants.
But that's
Well,
a less
they're-
good band's name.
Definitely giants.
While we're walking, can I do some kind of like history check to see if I've ever heard anything about some kind of like ancient battle in the deep darkness? Like as a fairy tale or a folklore thing or anything.
Can Savant also do that because of his uncle just telling him tales? Thunderdark?
Wow.
Whoa!
Wow.
Well, you see, as he puts up his imaginary glasses.
Ulan took the hit.
That's what I'm for.
Well, that's actually my role is actually decide was actually what something I needed to get. I have been rolling shit entire day. Like,
I haven't rolled above like an 11, I don't think. Oh, my nature was alright, that was a 15, okay.
you don't say.
I fought on the front lines of the Underground Dragon Wars.
He's 178, I think. Giant. I immediately after this start to think about sad things, because let's talk about this in more indifferent, and we'll not be able to be mind read.
While we're moving forward, can Ulan keep his eyes open for, I guess, what he imagines a celestial skeleton would look like? Like a humanoid thing with wing bones? The dice hate me so much. With advantage. Nope.
What?
Okay.
That happened.
I'm heading back to the bubble, guys.
I can't wait for you to DM.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm proficient in medicine. Like, so I probably am quite good at biology. Okay. I'm good. I'm proficient in medicine and nature.
We're do- we're
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess Ulan was just assuming there'd be like golden halos next to their corpses, so that's been what he's looking for. Yeah.
no one gonna get that reference.
I'm I'm just wondering if because there's such a mix of races down here. I'm wondering if any, like, the races that built or whose languages we saw at the ritual to open the door might be among these bodies. Well, we thought Celestials, but now I'm wondering what language these Githyanki or what have you speak. Oh, I know, but we've got friggin' wyverns and dragons. So. Well, I mean, they could have come to fight, is what I mean. Oh. But why are the Githyanki here then?
Uh,
And they can't go back there. Okay. Alright. Maybe. I'm still bugged by how these big things got in here. Do you mean the eastern wall, or do you mean the western wall? Because we went west. We went that way, and then we were going around that way. Yeah. Also, we're already back around... Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
How
When
many
you said
hours
we'd
have
crossed a
passed?
familiar path, I thought you just meant that we got down here. Okay.
otherwise you can have a. Okay.
That was amazing timing.
Do we feel anything creeping up in our minds or affecting us in any way?
Fine.
Yes, I'm getting paranoid. I scratch it. I scratch my cortex.
That's a good one. That's actually a really good one. I didn't think about that.
Wow.
I mentally swat at the sensation.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Give me a.
A mental
wis-
SWAT check.
Yeah. Give me a wisdom save. As he opens his character sheet.
Shut up.
Oh.
Nope. You try and swat it, it's just kind of just sticks there. He's like, try and concentrate, and then you see everyone start walking ahead of you, and you're like, oh. You start moving forward to catch up with everyone else. As you reach this wall and you start traveling northwards to start heading back, this wall is very much a flat plane, and it seems to go all the way across as you start following away back towards the direction you're pretty sure is the outpost, which starts giving you a good idea of what's the shape of down here. Actually, give me an intelligence check. I would say because the two of you are leading, you can do it at advantage. One of you do it at advantage.
You go for it, Savant.
Okay.
I assume your intelligence is not a +0.
It's a +1.
Okay, that's slightly better.
Come on, roll for goddammit.
Dun, dun, dun. Flat 20. Nice.
Flat 19.
Well, 19 plus 1, so 20. So, with that, now that you've seen one side where you came through, you now know the ceiling is flat, and you know what wall is now pretty much flat as well. You're pretty sure this is now some type of cuboid. Like, this is definitely shaped. There's no natural shape to it. This
Oh
is...
my god, it's a giant Scanlan penis.
You're in the cube. But yeah, it's very almost uncanny how everything is lining up. Like, ceiling, flat, no curves. One of the walls, straight flat. The entrance, pretty much, is in line with some part of the wall as well.
Have you gone close to the walls? Do you see any runes or anything?
You're on. You're close to the east side of the wall, which you can make out.
Do we see any runes on the walls?
You would have to get very close and actually climb up. Because looking at the walls, they are high.
I think it would be good for us to look at the walls. There may be runes on them. I have a feeling with this thing being very squarish that this may be a big ass summoning box.
We don't have time. We have to get back before. Well, we did say we're going to give us an hour.
True. Let's go back.
We now have a little bit better of an idea. And you start heading back.
Ooh, every once in a while, by the way, we should check if we're still dexterous or not.
As you start heading...
I turn around and try and hit Aaron in the face.
You're leading, you're too far away.
With my Fist of Unbroken Air.
Well, if he's...
Okay, but if we start attacking each other, I'm gonna have to fucking retaliate one day. This is getting annoying.
No, I'm not really, I'm kidding.
Also, it would make noise, and it would break out of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But you carry on going, and it does eventually break close to where you reach the dragon. Where you're pretty much in the center of the bone field. You guys can stop, carry on, or start actually just running in the direction instead.
No, we'll just keep moving.
Okay. Technically, those that had advantage, you need to roll again. Because you no longer have advantage.
Can you take the first roll if you want to?
No.
That we had before.
Because you no longer feel dexterous anymore, so you don't actually have the advantage. So. So it's Seraphina, Ithamor, Savant, and Saren. Oh,
God damn it! That was funny.
Oh my god, guys!
that was so close.
Please,
Shouldn't we all be re-rolling at this point?
It's only them because they were the ones with advantage bonus.
Wow.
Oh well, I wasn't. So.
Oh yeah, then it wasn't you. Then it was just Aaron was the one, which rolls pretty much the same thing.
What? I had 17.
Yeah, but you no longer have advantage, do you?
No.
Yeah.
I rolled.
All right. Wow.
That's no problem. I rolled high both times.
But there was 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. As you start traveling through the bones and carry on going past the dragon, you start getting into the thinner parts of the bone piles, and you start seeing the light getting closer to the east direction. And Seraphina, you're holding the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hear. Are you coming back? Because we expected you.
We're on our way.
Right, I'm somewhere back from you unless you got the stone because.
Well, I had the stone earlier, and.
Oh, did you not give it back?
She keeps refusing to take it back from me, so
Yeah.
I guess I.
Okay, then so you have it then. Never mind.
I don't make the calls, so it doesn't make sense. I have.
Well, you had it because you were supposed to be the relay between, like the shoulders and the stone. So, because Ulan can't really have a stone in his hand while he's punching people, but yeah.
Well, I can.
Well, you've refused to take it back so many times that we'll just assume that Ulan has one now, and somebody else can be the relay.
But Serafina would take it if you phrase it like that.
Well, like I was talking when we were on the way to the bubble, so it's fine. I'll have responded to the message and said that we're nearly there.
All right.
Basically made a quick message.
Yep. which is fine. Oh, as you guys are traveling, everyone can give me a perception check, because I know you're all keeping an eye out.
Oh, for the love of Christ. I guess it's just my day to not see anything. I'm distracted keeping my mind on one thing.
That's probably, considering. You're like...
Yeah, thinking about that, Rage is supposed to be really good at multitasking too.
Cool.
Because I can track and keep alert at the same time. Like, what?
You have, like, your brow furrowed, and you're like... Wow, 21, 20, yeah, you two. Ulan and Ilfamor. You two notice it's very faint, considering the light is in the distance. But there is a faint flash of very pale blue. Like, just a...
From where?
Towards the light. Not
Towards the
directly
light?
at the light, but close to the light.
Oh, okay. How far are we from the bubble right now?
You're close to where the dragon is, so...
Okay.
Yeah, it's about... It's good several hundred feet. The light is closer, and it's a little bit more east than where the light is. It's more... where's my reel? It's more like
It's over here
over...
somewhere.
Yeah, it's more like over here.
So where we just were?
No, you were more over here. You went over there.
Can I do... I have a plus nothing in it, so it's kind of like a Hail Mary, but can I do an Arcana check to see if I recognize any, like, magic that I've seen anyone else do that was similar?
Sure. You can point this out to Seraphina. That would help.
Well, it was a momentary flash though, right?
That's true. So yeah, give me an Arcana check. If more, you can do the same. If you wish.
13, not bad.
13, 15. Yeah, both of you recognize this. You've seen this several times. Once done by Maribel. And you've seen Daniela cast it as well. There's definitely some form of teleportation, where it gives off a flash of magic.
Can we tell if it's teleporting in or teleporting out?
You have no idea. You just saw the flash. So it could be either. But you saw it over there.
Say, I know it's a bad idea, but should we check that out?
We need to head back to where the people are. We'll figure out what to do when we get there. If we stay where we are, we're going to be trapped out in the middle if anything bad is coming. So I think we should just get back to a safe spot.
As you are talking, you hear faint movement coming from your west. And you can hear the growls of 3 ghouls approaching. They don't see they seem to just be sniffing the air in your direction.
Coming from where?
Just coming from the west part, from behind some bones.
Over there.
Yeah.
Crap, I guess.
They're about... You can see them, so they're within 60 feet.
And they're sniffing in our direction?
Yeah. They haven't spotted you yet, but they can definitely smell there's life.
Ulan is going to carefully get his bow out and point them out to Booker and, like, the rest of the line. But are they heading directly towards us, but they don't seem to have noticed us?
They seem to be just like sniffing the air and kind of looking around through the bones.
Right, we will
I
stay
draw
very
my-
slow.
I draw my weapons just on the safe side, but do it very slowly, not so as not to attract attention.
Alright. Give me a sleight of
it's a
hand.
long shot.
Because sword drawing is pretty loud. Just give me a sleight of hand.
I'm gonna do something. If I can, I will reach into Ulan's bag of holding, take out the
From behind.
Illafid head, and stick it to my crossbow.
Which is about double the size, but okay.
No, not the light crossbow.
You're a small creature, so yes.
Well, it's not. It was not mine.
Oh, it's true. It wasn't yours. Yeah.
It's borrowed.
The head's still pretty large, but yeah.
Yeah, so I will try to just shoot the light crossbow with the Illafid head arcing over as far as I can.
In which direction?
Over them.
Over them. Okay.
Like arcing over them, like hopefully to get the smell of the Illafid head.
Yeah, 60 feet away.
60 feet away. Yeah. What's the crossbow's main longest range?
Ugh.
I think it's like 240 or something. Just
Light
remind.
crossbow, no, that's more than that. The light crossbow, 320.
320. Okay. What's the minimum?
80.
80. Okay.
Doesn't matter for me.
All right. Give me a attack roll at disadvantage.
I will use a grip point. Is this a straight roll?
15.
I will use a hero point. I want this to work, yeah, goddammit.
17. Okay. As Ithamor's drawing his blades, and both Ulan and Booker slowly drawing back their bows, and this head kind of doesn't even fire, kind of like spins in the air with the arrow, almost like a deflated football as it starts to spin. And they immediately look up as they see it. And considering the max distance, you hear a couple seconds later as it slams into a small bone pile on the floor, and all three of them rush towards it.
We're moving now.
Mark off that head,
Yes.
and there's a little bit of a bloody mess on the front of the crossbow, but you've had worse on it.
At least I've been inside the creature shooting, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It's got acid on it. Yeah. Oh well. Now, do you start just moving, or are you going to stop stop and wait?
I think we should start moving.
Move while they're distracted, maybe?
Yeah, move all the this way. Very quietly and slowly.
Yeah. You move again quietly. Technically, Savant, you have to roll another stealth just because you attacked.
Yeah. I've done that before.
You start moving back towards the game, towards the outpost. As you're moving, there's something in the air that you feel. There's no sound to it. There's almost this heat in the air, but it's not from temperature. It's just from energy. Almost if there's before lightning strikes, that kind of intensity to the air, and you all feel it across, just passing through you. as you start heading towards the outpost, and it seems to be encompassing the entirety of, or at least the area that you're around. This kind of tingling sensation across the back of your arms, and some of the hair you can feel on your neck begins to stand on end. There's something almost tangible about it, but you can't see or hear anything. It's just the air seems thick, and Booker kind of just stops, looks at Django, looks at you guys. Do you guys feel that as well?
Being a kind of like electric dragon, and being familiar with that kind of like weathery side of things as well, would I be able to tell if this is natural or like have any familiarity with it? Does it feel actually like lightning, or does it feel like some weird other thing?
You know, it's definitely unnatural.
Okay.
Yeah, you know that there's always some type of sign. This is definitely not a sign of a natural effect.
Okay.
Considering you've not seen any natural weather in this chamber. But you can do a nature check if you want to try and identify it.
Yeah, sure.
14. Carrying on from it, it's unnatural in its sense, but there is something. It has a familiarity to a natural effect of when lightning does strike something, the kind of energy that it brings before, like the positive and negative connecting before it strikes. But there's no, you can't hear any thunder, you don't have clouds around, it's just this.
And it was very sudden and very close to us, or is it like the whole air feels?
It's the whole air that you can feel it. And it seems you passed into it, not it passed through you.
I feel that, and it feels bad. We should get back.
We should get back. I have no idea what this is.
Does my itching get worse?
Doesn't need to be attached to the itching.
Okay, good.
Those with Arcana, you can give me a check.
Yep, not it.
That would be the thing. Barbarian and Arcana check.
Well, Sabrina.
Am I the only one who's proficient?
I was gonna say, yeah, I think you are.
Well,
But you're the only spellcaster, so.
I
Yeah.
rolled for everybody apparently.
That is a roll. A natural 19 for 27. Oof. Yeah. This is something which you weren't there to truly experience, but you have a feeling it's noticeably similar to when a rift opened. But it's unlike where King's Archer was.
If it was like a rift opening, did it feel familiar to the one that opened when we were in the...
Oxon?
Outpost thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did
Again,
I was
like
actually
that,
out
but
there.
there
observe
was
the air,
sound.
so that very faint.
At the moment, there is no sound, but there is, again, a familiarity that this is. You felt something similar to this.
Basically, GM says, let's go on with it, do my main campaign.
What? Even all of you apart from Savant, technically. It also has a sensation. It reminds you when you went through the Emerald Sea. That sense that there was a pull in the air towards these voids, these bubbles of
The air
planar
tastes
magic.
like plain shit. That's fun. I guess I will sending back to them and say something wonky is happening.
Yeah, I would say maybe rift plane thing. We should move now.
Yeah, we're
Is
obviously
there-
gonna
is-
keep moving.
Yeah.
Like, did we stop? I thought we were still moving.
Yeah, I imagine you're probably still moving unless you tell me you stopped and looking around.
I'm gonna look around. Is there any indication that there's something within visible range opening?
Give me a perception
Because
check.
that's the last fucking thing we need is another goddamn demon on our heads.
Particularly near where we saw the teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yes! If it's there, I saw it.
Yeah, and that was probably the only way you were going to see anything. In not the direction of the light or the teleport. It's actually towards the west.
In that back towards the wall?
One of the walls, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Can you
very
get on that
faint.
delightful map, please?
Sure. I will give you a direction. It's somewhere over here.
Ah, excellent.
Which is strange because you're pretty sure you walked that way.
Yeah.
But over there now, there's a very faint crack. Just almost like a sheet of glass, and someone just tapped it with a hammer, and there's this line of crack going through it.
Prisoner Zero will leave the human residence.
It's just so faint that you barely made it out with your eagle vision. You're like, there. It's just a faint line, and there's just energy that at this point now you can feel is concentrated around it, but
Right.
you're feeling it from here.
Yeah, I'm gonna very quietly point it out and go, open rift.
Anyone else that looks in that direction just can't see it.
Okay, never mind. There's an open rift over there. We should. Oh God.
Make Argentine aware of it.
Yeah, let's go get Argentile. I don't want to close it without him this time.
Wait, an open?
Yeah, I'll just get the sending stone out and just be like, rift now, outside.
Yeah, I've got it. I can't leave it. Oh.
Yeah, I'll get it. Arkan. Arkan? As she starts like moving away from the stone.
Yeah, I'll give them directions. Well, I'll pass them to Ulan as to where I can see it.
Well,
Are
I
you
presume
guys
pointed
heading-
it out to Ulan.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't think he can actually see it. But yeah, that way.
Well, how far away is it?
pretty far still. It's about
It's
200.
a nat 20 with my eagle vision.
But
that got me to see
is it
50 feet.
like invisible?
All you
or
can
is it
see is a
like-
very faint crack.
Oh, okay.
And for you guys at this distance, no, you can't see anything.
Alright, we're at the dragon, it's west of us.
Are you guys going to head towards it or towards the outpost?
I'm heading towards it. I didn't get to fight in the last one.
Yeah, no, I'm going towards it. I've already started because Saren portal go.
All right. With that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back to that. Unless you guys want to finish here and pick up next week.